Elden Ring features some of the most stunning visuals ever seen in a game, and it would really translate well if we could edit our photos to look something like that. I'm going to show you how to recreate the different areas of the world of Elden Ring in Lightroom into your photography. We're going to cover each of the areas in the Elden Ring world, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss those future episodes coming soon. Alright guys, we're going to edit like Leyndell in this photo. We're going to basically take a look at our Leyndell starting point, and it is essentially a decontrasted everything, desaturated everything, and just hazy. Our colors remaining are orange. We do have some kind of like orange trim on the sides of our buildings. We have some yellow gold areas as well, but essentially everything else is gray, and everything coming down from the sky is going to be kind of cloudy, hazy situation. So I'm going to start off with this photo. This is from Salzburg, Austria. I chose this one essentially because it's a nice scene. It kind of gives off a similar vibe as Leyndell. And we can essentially start with whatever sky that we want in this one, which is unusual for our Elden Ring edits. Usually our sky dictates which photos we can select, but I really do feel that you can turn most photos into Leyndell pretty easily. So the nice thing about this one is that the edit is not going to be too difficult, not going to be too complex. Only a couple masks, and they are just gradient masks from the top, from the bottom, and it's going to be pretty nice and simple. So I'm going to walk through our slider adjustments. You guys can follow along. You guys can copy paste the numbers and make a preset for yourself for Leyndell if you want to. And otherwise, just sit back and enjoy the show. Alright, so let's go ahead and start off with our tone curve like I always like to start with. And I already mentioned that Leyndell is going to be a decontrasted kind of situation. So all we have to do essentially is turn our stuff into an S curve, but both edges of the S curve are going to be pushed down like to the opposite sides of the line that we want. So the shadows are going to come up above the line, the highlights are going to come down below the line, and we're basically going to decontrast our image. Alright, that's a pretty good start, nice and easy. You guys can essentially just copy this tone curve over. Now let's move on over to our basic lighting sliders. For our basic lighting sliders, we're going to continue with our general process of decontrasting, desaturating, and essentially hazing the image. We're going to try to make it hazy, low contrast, low saturation. I'm just going to paste in the settings here, and we're going to talk about them, okay? For my particular image, temperature and tint do have to come up just a little bit. Tint over towards the magentas because that's more so what Leyndell feels like. A little bit of magenta in the stone. Yeah, I just think it fits better. Our exposure is going to come down just a touch for this image, but that depends on your image. Like, you don't have to copy the exposure. Highlights all the way down. We have no really bright highlights, and in my particular image that I started with, there were some really bright, like overexposed sections, like those buildings up in the front. They're too bright, so I needed a heavy highlights adjustment. But for you, it kind of depends. So you can decide on your own. Shadows are gonna come up. Okay, we're gonna brighten up those shadows. We're basically gonna have a flat gray image, is what we're trying to get to start with. Our whites are gonna come down for the same reason as the highlights, but not to the same extent. And then the blacks are going to come up for the same reason as the shadows come up, just to, yeah, about the same extent. Okay, texture, clarity, and dehaze, all over to the left. Okay, we're going to drop all three of them, especially dehaze. We want to haze up the image just a little bit here. And then we're going to move down to our vibrance and saturation. We have no significant vibrance in Leyndell. Like, there are no bright colors standing out, popping out at you. That's what vibrance does. Vibrance adjusts the kind of dominant colors in your image only. We want to drop that way down. -69, baby. Saturation, to counteract that just a little bit, to kind of bump up the saturation of everything overall, we can bump that up to about +13. Okay, so that's where our basic sliders are here for Leyndell. I think this is a really good start. You can already see how Leyndell is coming together just with the tone curve and the basic sliders. Okay, unlike stuff like Caelid, where once we got through with the tone curve and the basic sliders, you're like, this looks nothing like Caelid yet. Okay, Leyndell, it's already looking pretty good. All right, so we just have a few more things to go. Let's move on down to the color mixer area. For our color mixer with our saturation, we're gonna take our reds all the way out, greens, aquas, purples, magentas, all the way out. We don't have that stuff in Leyndell. We do have orange and yellow. Okay, our trees are orange and yellow. We're gonna try to get our trees there. Right now, once with only these sliders, we still have pretty green trees, but we're gonna take care of that. Blues can come down just a little bit, but yeah, essentially the only colors we want are orange, yellow, and maybe a little bit of blue. Because if you look at Leyndell, there is a little bit of blue going on, so we do need to keep that in. Hues, oranges over to yellow, yellows over to green, just a bit, okay? And then our luminances, oranges we're gonna brighten up just a little bit, yellows brighten up just a little bit, and blues brighten up big time. The reason for the blues, if we darken that up, we're just trying to basically get our sky and our background to where we want them to be. So yeah, that's why blue needs to come up for this particular image. That's about it for color sliders. Let's move down to the color grading wheels here. Let's go ahead and put those in. We have shadows coming down towards the dark blues. We have midtones up towards the yellow, maybe a little bit on the orange side. And then we have highlights definitely straight up to yellow, okay? That's all we really need here, just a slight kind of adjustment. Right now, our image is not quite Leyndell yet, but we're gonna get there. Our color, I think the contrast is there, just our colors are not quite there, but we have a couple more adjustments we need to make, and we will get it right to where we want it to be. Also note that I moved the blending all the way over to 100. I think it got us to where we needed to be there, and our balance up to about plus 26. One more thing that we have to adjust on the sliders before we get to masking is going to be calibration. Okay, calibration has a huge power effect on the whole image. Let's go ahead and check out what our colors need to be shifted to in the calibration section. There we go. That's how we fixed our trees. We moved our reds all the way to the right. We moved our greens towards the yellows, minus 60, and then our blues also towards the aquas, minus 68. Tint over to the magenta, plus 43. This has a huge effect on the colors. This got us from here to here, okay? From just like gray and green to basically Leyndell color scheme. Okay, we still have a few more things to adjust though. Our clouds look kind of funny, not gonna lie. Okay, we're gonna take care of that via masking, and I think that's gonna just finish off our image, get it right to where we need it to be. And they are a couple of just simple masks. We're gonna take care of the haze. It's not quite hazy enough in the sky. We can see the clouds too well. We're gonna take care of that real quick. Let's take a look at those. Okay, so for the first mask, we're gonna take care of the sky situation. We're gonna just do a linear gradient from the top down. Okay, you can see the lines on the screen here. We're just covering up the whole sky with the full effect of the mask, and then we're going to have the gradient down into the landscape just a little bit. Before I show what the mask does, I'm going to show just the slider adjustments here. And basically, all we're changing is dehaze, minus 63. We're just taking way down on the dehaze section. Let's go ahead and turn that mask on, see what it looks like. Perfect. It looks cloudy. It looks foggy. It looks like Leyndell. We're getting there so close. All right, another mask. One more mask too is a linear gradient up. Okay, basically we just have the front of the bottom half of the image in the full mask effect, and then we have another like section in the gradient part of the mask, right? The change here is just a bump up in dehaze to plus 18 there, and that's just to have everything up close to like at the forefront of the landscape, like more clear, less hazy. Essentially, we've taken the haze down too far in that particular area, and it should be a little bit clearer. We're also going to drop the exposure down just a little bit on that part of the image. Let's go ahead and turn that mask on. Perfect. Perfect. Our exposure is great, our haze is great from the top down, our contrast is great, and our color scheme is great. Let's go ahead and check out this final shot next to Leyndell and see how closely we've matched it. if you ask me, we did a pretty good job. I love this image. I think this is one of my favorite Elden Ring edits, is the Leyndell edit. I would highly recommend using this one in your own photos. Let me know which area of Elden Ring you want to see next. We've already done Caelid, Limgrave, Stormvale, and Liurnia. We still have Altus Plateau, Mount Gelmir, Mount Top of the Giants, and something else I'm missing. But we have 4 more to go after this one. So let me know which one you want to see next in the comments section down below. Leave a like, subscribe so you don't miss it. Let me know if there are any other video games that have areas that we can do a similar thing with that you would like to see, and I'll give it a shot. Alright, we'll catch you guys in the next one. We'll see you soon.